Aubrey Plaza is strange. At least that's what people think. After her breakout role as a sardonic intern in Parks and Recreation, she's played characters with similar personalities. Low energy, deadpan, dry wit, sarcastic.
Stay back, slut!
And it's such a strong image that people tend to see her that way in real life. But there's way more to her than that. It's a character type that suits her and has served her well enough to put her on the map, but she's so in tune with it that, like a dimmer switch, she can adjust its luminosity.
You got what the kids these days call moxie.
Sometimes she'll lean into it, and other times it's not there at all, and everything in between. As her career has evolved, that's only become more apparent in projects like Ingrid Goes West, Legion, Black Bear, Emily the Criminal, The White Lotus, Megalopolis, and Agatha All Along. I want to talk about her for just multiple reasons. I'm a fan, first and foremost, but I'm also interested in her evolution as an actress, how self-aware she is of this persona, how she's dealt with it, how she's used it to forge a place in entertainment. And at the end of the day, she's still kind of a mystery. Where does Aubrey end and Plaza begin? But before we start celebrating Aubrey...
This is gonna be the greatest thing ever.
Someone will die.
Of fun.
And of murder.
As always, we want to thank all of our patrons over on patreon.com/thebackfocus. Check it out if you'd like to help support this channel. After studying improv at the Upright Citizens Brigade and graduating from the Tisch School of the Arts in New York, Aubrey interned at SNL for a year, then ended up working as an NBC page at 30 Rock. Around this time, she got her first speaking role as an NBC page at 30 Rock in 30 Rock.
Conan O'Brien!
The director of the episode needed someone to play the page, and Aubrey saw an opportunity.
But because I knew the spiel, I was like, just let me do it. I was like, I can do it. And then he threw me in on camera and I did it. And because I had a line, the SAG union rules.
They had to give you a card.
Got right into that union.
Then in 2009, Aubrey flew to Los Angeles and met casting director Allison Jones, who helped cast her in 2 big projects. First, there was Funny People, in which Aubrey rounded out the cast of supporting characters as Daisy, a fellow stand-up comedian.
Where are you from originally? You just moved here, right?
Yep, Delaware.
Delaware. Our first state in the Union.
Yes, it is.
That's great. No sales tax in Delaware, right?
Yeah, there's not. That's weird. You know so much about Delaware. You f***ing Joe Biden.
He's from Delaware. See, I knew that.
Already you can see her improv skills. I mean, this is a Judd Apatow movie. Improv is a must. Fun fact, Aubrey never really did stand-up, and Judd Apatow took her and some of the cast to a stand-up show, then just surprised her by telling her that she was going on stage right after Adam Sandler.
I'm sick of rap songs telling me what to do. Bend over, slap your ass, girl.
The other project she was cast in was, of course, Parks and Recreation. Originally conceived as a ditzy, blonde intern, Aubrey suggested in her initial meeting with the creators that her character, April Ludgate, has just taken this internship for college credit and doesn't really give a shit.
I put poisonous gas in one of these balloons, so if any of them pops, you may die.
For 6 years, she killed it, and her lines and various funny moments have just continued to pop up in best-of videos and compilations all over social media.
All due respect, Miss Ludgate, do you even know what you're doing here?
All due respect, Mr. Hamster Penis, but no, I don't.
My last name is Giles.
Are you sure? Because you look like a hamster penis.
Also, after appearing in her friend Donald Glover's comedy film Mystery Team, she acted opposite Michael Cera as Julie Powers, a snarky, foul-mouthed friend of Ramona, whom Scott Pilgrim pines after, in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
And by the way, I can't believe you asked Ramona out after I specifically told you not to do that.
How are you doing that with your mouth?
Never mind how I'm doing it.
During and after her time on Parks and Rec, Aubrey cemented this kind of character that people know her for.
What are you talking about? The perfume that you're wearing.
I'm not wearing any perfume!
It's kind of perfect because it's such an easily digestible type that audiences are familiar with. The sarcastic, not sure if you're joking or not, low-energy girl who can cut through bullshit with a wry quip.
The minute you leave, my boyfriend's not gonna come over. We're not gonna make out on the couch or anything.
Why did you bring it up?
I was kidding.
It's a type that's personified in a show like Daria, a character Aubrey actually played in a College Humor sketch featuring a trailer for a live-action Daria movie.
We've all gone our separate ways since graduation, but we'll forever be united by the deep emotional scars this place has left us with.
So over the years, there have been kind of 3 versions of Aubrey. First, there's Aubrey in TV, which consisted of mostly one-off roles leaning into this sarcastic Aubrey persona. It's almost like casting directors saw her in Parks and Rec and said, "Give me more of that!" You know, she was just a perfect straight man to Fred Armisen and Carrie Brownstein in several episodes of Portlandia.
I have pole dancing class that day.
Excuse me? You have
Pole
what
dancing?
Pole dancing?
Exercise?
We're about to freak out right now.
And like she sometimes did, her persona got sort of intertwined with the goth stereotype as a clerk working at Scorched Coral in an episode of SpongeBob SquarePants.
How much is this, Joker?
It's a wristband.
Awesome.
There were also a couple times when she played versions of herself. One was more down-to-earth and realistic in an episode of Marin.
I guess it's because of the characters I play. People think I'm like aloof and hate people, but I actually like people. I like friends. I know that sounded sarcastic, but I meant it.
The other was an extreme, highly sexual Aubrey who relentlessly pursues her accountant in the series Welcome to Sweden.
You should put a little tour of Stockholm inside of me, for me.
But it was Aubrey's film career that allowed her to really begin to stretch her talents. Sure, there were definitely instances where this Aubrey persona came in handy, like in the comedy 10 Years, in which she went to a 10-year high school reunion with her boyfriend, learning that he used to try really hard to be black when he was younger. Or in the bizarre comedy A Glimpse into the Mind of Charles Swan III as a frustrated agent to an eccentric graphic designer. Then there were films where this Aubrey persona was a jumping off point to something with more pathos and dimension. The perfect example of this would be Aubrey's first starring role in a film, in Safety Not Guaranteed. She played Darius, a disillusioned intern at Seattle Magazine who jumps at the chance to help research a story about an alleged time traveler who placed an anonymous ad in the paper.
There are people after me. How do I know you don't work for them?
Because I've never worked for anybody in my life.
You ever face certain death?
If it was so certain, I wouldn't be here, would I?
Yes, there are comedic moments, but Aubrey really shines in these other moments when she begins to fall in love with her subject.
I messed up a bunch of parts, but that's basically what it is.
So good.
Shut up.
So good.
Her next film role was completely different. In a film where you might expect Aubrey to play kind of a snarky best friend, she actually played the lead, a type A overachieving high school graduate who makes a raunchy bucket list of experiences she believes are required to partake in before college in the to-do list.
The last time I Frenched was with Jason Swan in 9th grade, but we had to end our relationship because it was interfering with our student council duties.
Around the time of the release of this movie, by the way, the MTV Video Music Awards were happening, and as Will Ferrell was accepting a Comedic Genius Award, Aubrey, in perhaps maybe a subtle nod to the I'ma Let You Finish Kanye debacle, tried to take the award out of his hands.
Are you okay? Aubrey Plaza, everyone.
And apparently the whole stunt just wasn't planned, and Aubrey was legitimately kicked out of the ceremony. Which brings us to our third iteration of Aubrey, real-life Aubrey.
I'm just gonna say right now that I think probably 90% of these are gonna be people telling me they want me to run them over with a car or like stomp on their face or something. Let's do it.
Or is it? This version of Aubrey is arguably the most popular. If you search on YouTube, there are just countless compilations of Aubrey, quote-unquote, acting weird or awkward on talk shows.
Right, and seriously. Seriously, don't do that. Like, honestly, don't do, stop. Anything else. This is ruined, and I'm sorry that you had to see that.
On these appearances and doing press in general, Aubrey has said that she goes into each interview trying her best to just be normal and be herself. Then she ends up saying something odd.
I sold my soul to the devil. This is the first time I'm wearing a long dress, so soak it in, America. Get used to this.
She really is a great talk show guest, which is a whole other thing to talk about, like what makes a good guest on a late night talk show.
I said happy holiday!
Okay, there you go. Aubrey Plaza, thank you.
In my opinion, it's usually someone who manages to not only keep the host on their toes, but someone who also breaks down the entire artifice of the talk show environment and escapes the usual rhythm the audience expects.
I like to lie. I get paid to lie, and it makes me happy.
Anyway, ever since leaving Parks and Rec, Aubrey has had some great performances. One of my favorite of hers comedically is in Dirty Grandpa. It's just purely a one-joke character, and I love it. She wants to have sex with an old man. That's it.
Obviously, I've got the bigger 3-wood.
Good, maybe you can use it to hit your balls right into my vagina.
Holy
I love when she's drunk and mocking this jock character she's ended up with.
We have offers to play professional lacrosse in Europe, but a bunch of agents also wants to start modeling.
Apparently, Robert De Niro didn't get how funny that this whole concept was until the very end.
All of a sudden put it together what was funny about the concept of the movie. We had been shooting it for 3 months, but it hit him really hard, like randomly, and he started laughing so hard he was crying. He was like, it's funny because, you know, I'm a grandpa and you're you. And I was like, it is funny, isn't it, Bob?
At this point, everyone kind of felt like they knew what Aubrey was all about. The deadpan, sarcastic, etc., etc., etc.
This was Mike's I'd be like, I get close, but I never touch it.
But the next phase of her career included characters that complemented these Aubrey Plaza qualities and allowed her to take them to another level. I feel like for years, she was giving the casting directors and audience members what they wanted, what they expected, and then just turned it all on its head starting in 2017 with the dark comedy drama Ingrid Goes West.
Ingrid. Congratulations. Thanks for inviting me, you
Aubrey played Ingrid, a social media addicted woman recently released from a psych ward who becomes obsessed with Elizabeth Olsen's character, Taylor Sloan, a Los Angeles influencer, and inserts herself into her life by kidnapping her dog and pretending, oh, I found it and here it is. Oh my God, yeah, I'll have wine and dinner. No way, I've never seen this house before, even though I've been staring at it for days.
Okay, well, wait, don't you need the address?
Yeah, of course I need the address. Let me just get a pen. Okay, got one.
This was a painful, cringeworthy movie to watch in the best way possible.
Hey, it's me again. Remember me? Ingrid, patron of the arts, Ingrid with a truck, Ingrid who saved your dog's life. The least you could do is pick up on your phone, you bitch!
I was totally kidding about all those messages I just left. It was a joke. Gotcha. Yes, I'm so angry at you. It's me, Ingrid. I'm mean.
She has some great comedic moments, but she goes to some really dark places, sinking further and further into madness as the facade she's created begins to crumble.
I'm just a loser.
The same year, things got even darker when she starred in Legion, a loose adaptation of Marvel's X-Men comic book series. She played Lenny, a companion to the main character David, an extremely powerful mutant with schizophrenia. Again, this was a perfect role for her because it's sardonic and dark, and I don't want to spoil anything because honestly it gets a little wild and weird and sort of convoluted in a fun X-Men kind of way. But throughout the first season of the show, it's not really clear who or what Lenny is. Is she a real person, or is she just an imaginary friend in David's head, or is she some other entity in disguise tormenting David?
Who are you, really?
I'm you. I'm me. I'm everything you wanna be.
Please. The truth.
Here's the truth, pal. We gotta get out of here, okay? You and me. Because wherever you go, there I am. And I can't hang out in this stay no place much longer, okay? I got things to do.
The character's just all over the place, and Aubrey admitted during a 2018 Guardian interview, quote, "It's a total mind. It's mentally and physically exhausting to not exist as a human. At the end of the day, I would just feel like nothing. Just this rag doll that's been thrown around."
Hey, sexy.
Plus, Lenny was initially written as a middle-aged man, and Aubrey wanted to keep the original dialogue intact, adding a whole other level of ambiguity.
And do you know why God matters? Power. That is the point of what you call life.
She would go on to say in that same Guardian interview, quote, "There's a fluidity to Lenny, and I just think it's more interesting playing a character that's not so identifiable. It's really fun to decide how someone like that moves and looks. It's allowed me to do whatever I want." Something that she really explored in this memorable dance sequence. Well, the mind continued when she played a writer and an actress in 2 different stories in the film Black Bear. The writer character hides behind humor and sarcasm as a defense mechanism when confronted with genuine emotion.
You're really hard to read.
Yeah, you know what? I get that all the time, but I actually think that I'm so easy to read that people just get confused and they make it harder on themselves.
You're just different than what I thought you would be like from watching your films.
You've seen my movies?
Then the film takes this extreme hard left turn and begins with another story with the same actors playing different roles. Her second character is an actress shooting a film being emotionally manipulated by her director husband in order to elicit a convincing performance.
What the is going on?
Nothing is going on. I don't understand what's going on with you. I've been doing like 15 takes every time, every scene, and you're only asking Blair to do 3.
This is one of my favorite performances of hers because it comes in waves, right? You know, the first character is almost a meta commentary on the Aubrey Plaza persona we're all familiar with. Snarky, self-deprecating, and you're not really sure where she stands on anything. Then the second character involves 2 performances, an emotionally raw performance as an actress losing her grip on reality, and the character that her character is playing in the film within a film. The 2 end up blurring together in what a lot of people would cite as a career high for Aubrey.
I'm bad. I'm too much. Stop. I am. Stop. I'm too much.
Then there was Emily the Criminal, a dramatic thriller in which Aubrey played Emily, a woman struggling to find any semblance of reliable employment who falls deeper and deeper into an underground criminal organization. Towards the end of the movie, you kind of sympathize with her because I don't really know how else to put this, right? The rent is too damn high.
What I don't understand is how you feel so comfortable asking someone to work without pay.
You know, when I was your age, they told me all I could be was a secretary.
Okay, but secretaries get paid.
That's not the point.
Well, when you were my age, did you have $60,000 of debt?
Aubrey would go on to be nominated for an Emmy and a Golden Globe for her performance in the 2nd season of The White Lotus when she played Harper, a wife to a newly wealthy tech entrepreneur. While vacationing at the White Lotus in Sicily, she's cynical and feels out of place in this wealthy, superficial circle of people she finds herself in.
Everybody compares themselves to other people, Ethan. Why are you criticizing me for doing something that everyone does?
Aubrey does a great job at playing that character who isn't afraid to stir the pot, kind of acting as a wild card of the group.
I don't know. I was in college.
Were you a good girl or a bad girl?
I mean, I wasn't bad, but I had fun.
But as the series continues, she finds herself doing things that blur the lines of trust and fidelity, raising questions about whether she's really any different from the people she's criticizing.
It's like, I get it. You're on top of the world right now. You can sleep with whoever you want, and you're stuck with me.
That stuff.
Yeah, it makes sense that you'd want to have sex with an Italian hooker. You're not getting any.
I didn't have sex with an Italian hooker.
Needless to say, Aubrey has just continued to just go for it, all gas, no brakes, out of control. She completely chewed the scenery, spat it out, and chewed it again as WoW Platinum in Francis Ford Coppola's unhinged passion project, Megalopolis.
Listen, you and I ought to have an understanding. You're on my territory now, and you're gonna play by my rules. And this may come as a little surprise to you, right? Caesar's mine.
And of course, she recently joined the MCU as Rio Vidal, a mysterious rival of Agatha in Agatha All Along.
And you know her name. So what's yours?
As of this video, we're only, a couple episodes into Agatha. There's speculation on who Aubrey's character truly is. But whatever it is, Aubrey was more than excited to play this part.
Ugh, it really warms the heart.
You don't have a heart.
Yes, I do. It's black. And it beats for you.
But Agatha is the gayest Marvel project yet. Do you agree?
It better be, because that's what I signed up for.
So, what have we learned? Aubrey Plaza is entertaining. Seriously, I'm not joking. She's great.
The suit makes me want to scold a Catholic child. I don't know who Ann Taylor is, but I hate her and I want to kill her.
I feel like the way she talks sometimes is like Dave Foley in that One Kids in the Hall sketch where he's just stuck talking sarcastic all the time and nobody takes him seriously.
I've talked this way all my life. It's made things very difficult for me.
Anyway, no, she really is great. I feel like she could have just stayed in her lane and rode off into a snarky sunset with her reliable shtick. But in recent years, we're just now beginning to see what she can really do, thanks to some great nuanced roles in fantastic projects. Whether she's doing her thing, doing something else, or being whatever version of Aubrey this is.
I don't like cornflakes.
I can confidently say that I will always find her enjoyably puzzling in the best way possible.
I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy. That was really fun.
Thank you, Aubrey. That was Aubrey Plaza. Almost tumbling, but fighting.
Have a great night tonight.